collaboration, and innovation that has emerged from our sessions so far. In today's agenda, we have a lineup of distinguished speakers and interactive discussions which are going to provide key insights and valuable notes. For the session one of roles and responsibilities of Global Digitalization Manager, we have Dr. Prabhakar Shankar Sir, PharmD, MDA, IIT Patna. For the session 2 of Market Research Analyst, a career path for PharmD graduates, we have Dr. Prantar Nath Sir, PharmD. And for the next session of Health Technology Assessment, a new frontier for PharmD graduates, we have Dr. Jagadish K. Sir, PharmD, MPH. And now, I'm happy to introduce our first speaker of today's session, Dr. Prabhakar Sir. Dr. Prabhakar Sir is a leadership professional with business optimization experience on various verified platforms. Sir has executed strategic brand positioning for sustainable business and improved the quality system and user experience by designing and managing high-impact strategic projects and products. SAR is responsible for identifying market gaps and addressing them by establishing a value proposition through the conceptualization of strategies. And he has touched 5,000 lives across the globe as an efficient keynote speaker. And he has also have healthcare leadership experience in the health tech and hospital network industries. And it is our honor to welcome sir. Please welcome sir.
Good evening, team. Am I audible?
Yeah, sir, you are audible.
How are you guys? All doing well? Hope you guys are fine, cool. So let's start today's discussion. So let me share my screen.
First experiment காட்டணும் சொல்லுங்க எக்ஸ்பெரிமெண்ட் எழுத ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டியா
Team, is my screen visible?
Yeah, sir, visible, sir.
Cool. So let me start the session with a story. So can anyone read this for me? Any one of you? Come on, guys. Let's have an interactive session. Any one of you start reading this? Anyone or anyone from Syncon platform? Am I audible, guys?
Yeah, sir, you are audible, sir.
Can you read this?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yeah.
I will read it. I will read it out, sir.
Yeah.
An old woman aged about 50 started running 20 kilometers a day.
An old woman aged 50 started running 20 kilometers a day.
What could have inspired her and why so late? Looking at all those young women, maybe she wanted to feel beautiful again. Or maybe she suddenly realized her health was failing. Maybe she was preparing for an important day. Ma'am, we are running out of time. Can my kidney be replaced with my son's? Her son had end-stage kidney disease. And the only solution was a kidney transplant. The catch, the body of the giver and receiver should be the same. Son, you need not worry, you will get well soon. The doctor told her to reduce her weight by about 20 kg. So she can donate her kidney to her son. No man could make me go on a diet or lose weight. except my own son. Are you ready, ma'am? Yeah. Nothing frightens me more than losing my son. At the age of 51, Mrs. Wang pushed her limits and lost 20 kgs within 3 months.
Thanks a lot for reading it. So that's it. At the age of 51, Mrs. Wang pushed her limits to and lost 20 kgs within 3 months. This is a real story. So she saved her son finally by sacrificing her kidney. Everything and anything is possible once you put your body and mind into it. So this is the one thought that has brought all of us together today in this particular sessions. Anything and everything is possible. So today the session what I'm gonna take is on digital health transformation. The same thought brought us all together, brought me, my teammates together to implement digital healthcare transformation in India and globe. So digital health transformation. Anyone has any idea on this? No? So I'll help you guys out with. So digital health. So basically you guys might have studied, like traditional healthcare system. So we go to hospital, we treat them, and the patient comes in, we treat them. But in today's era, considering the population, considering the viability of transportation, things we have some other things that we can incorporate today with the help of technology. So I'll give you an example. So let me start with this particular example. So there's a patient called Pratima Nayak. She's from Srirangapatna, a tier 2 town in Karnataka. So she's one of the chronic disease patient among 75 million patients that we have in India. So she also has colorectal cancer. She has other complicated issues and she has colorectal cancer. If she wants to get a simple chemotherapy, she should travel from Srirangapatna to Bangalore, that is 130 kilometers away from Srirangapatna. So this travel duration is like 2.5 hours. So with a condition like cancer, if she wants to travel from Srirangapatna to Bangalore, it's ASAP. Being a cancer patient, you guys are well aware, you guys are formerly graduates. There are a lot of side effects and pain that she'll be undergoing. So with that pain, it's very hard for her to travel. So especially post COVID, 60% of the people in metro city, they prefer online consultation and they don't want to travel. Travel is an hassle, especially in cities like Bangalore, Mumbai, Chennai. Traffic is very huge, and people easily spend, 2 days, 2 hours per day in traffic. So traveling is an hassle. It's painful. It's risky considering the cancer patients or any patient with any chronic disease because as you are getting older with any chronic disease, your immunity will be compromised, and the traveling will increase your chance of getting some infections. So this is the reason why we want digital healthcare in the market. So digital healthcare basically offers the healthcare to the patient at their doorstep. So today you might have heard about different companies that is offering online consultation, that is offering lab test at your doorsteps, that is offering you smart ICU service, and that is offering you chemotherapy near your hospital. All this different business model comes under one platform called as digital healthcare transformation. This digital healthcare transformation is called as digitization. Have you guys ever heard about the word digitization? Anyone?
No, sir.
Anyone? So digitization is the word for digital healthcare transformation. So being a digitization manager, my job is basically to implement this digital transformation among the hospital. Now implementing digital transformation among the hospital. It can be cost effective, it can be convenient, it's a globally accepted model, and it has a lot of benefits. But the problem here is, does the doctors accept this digital healthcare transformation? Does the nurse accept it? Does the pharmacist accept it? The answer for this question is big no, especially in companies like India. So in countries such as India, what happens, people are very used to traditional healthcare things. They used to write things in paper, so they used to consult physically. But with companies like Practo, IO Health, all these companies today in market. So we are, used to online consultation, but still we prefer to write things in paper. If we go to US especially, there the paperwork will be way less compared to digital things. Everything is mostly digitalized in compare in countries like US and UK. But in India, it's a huge challenge to fill this gap where the doctors and nurses are not comfortable in getting digitalized. To fill this gap, we come into picture. So as a digitization manager, I come into picture to fill this gap. So I try to implement this digital transformation across the globe and countries like India, and there are some resistance by the staffs and the physicians. So basically, I should identify the reasons for the resistance, and I should fill the gap, and I should implement digitalization. Basically, my role is more of business and less of clinical. So I'm more of a business guy, and I did my Form D. Then I moved to business. I'm more of a business guy and less of a clinical guy at this point of time in my career. So we basically work on revenues. We basically work on implementing strategies. We create like SOPs, all those stuffs. So we work with multiple teams. We have our own teams. So this is how we guys work in the system. So before going further, anyone any questions? Team? No questions? Cool. So coming to this digital implementation in the market, so why it's so important and why it's so hard, why this digital implementation is very hard, the question lies under why. So have you guys ever heard about uh, why analysis, 5 why analysis, anyone? So let's assume, so you're studying in the college, let's assume that tomorrow you are becoming a lecturer or you're becoming a professor. So you are taking the class and one of your student is coming late. He or she is coming late. Now, when he or she is coming late, now what will you do? Anyone? I don't know. I'm not familiar with the names. Let me get the names. So I have many people. So let me start with, yeah, Swati. Are you there? Nirmala, or anyone like to answer? Like, if someone is coming late and you are the teacher of the particular class, what will you do? So, what can a teacher do? The teacher can basically ask, "Why are you late?" The teacher can accept the students inside the class, or he or she might give them some some kind of punishment kind of thing. You stand out today, you don't have to come in, these that. But the reason is, whether you allow him inside or you give him some kind of punishment, that basically won't you know improves anyone's quality of life. So he is not happy and you are not happy. Now let's find out the solution. Like, why he is late? Like, the first thing when you ask him why you are late, he will tell like, I miss the bus. Okay, if example is telling I miss the bus, that's your first why. Second why is like, why you miss the bus? Then you will say I came to the bus stop late. Then you was next why would be like, why you came to the bus stop late? I left the home late. So why you left the home late? Because I woke up late. Why you woke up late? Because like last night I slept late. Why you slept late? I was watching a movie last night, so I slept late. So the reason he is late to the class is not because he missed the bus, but his habit. His habit of watching movies at the late night is the reason why he is late today. So the question is like, we have to rectify his habit of watching movies at the late night. So the same thing, what I'm giving you, this same why analysis we apply in the market. Why someone is not used for digital transformation? What is the reason they are not used? They are like older, they are like 60 plus, they are saturated, they don't want to adopt to the new technology. It can be something like that, or they are having less system knowledge, they are not comfortable with the new technology. It can be any reason. So figure out the why and give them a proper solution, customize a solution for them, how this particular technology can help them, how we deliver the technology as per the customer expectation. So that is how a digitalization manager should be working in implementing digitalization across the market. Is it clear, team? So coming to this digitization, it can be a phygital solution. Phygital solution means there are a physical team in the hospital, there is a digital team, they both combine and they provide phygital solution. So for example, you are booking an appointment online with the doctor, and the online customer support team is booking an appointment for you, and post that, like there's a person, a patient care executives who takes care of your entire journey till your hospital. When you reach the hospital, the patient care executive greets you, he welcomes you, he helps you out with all the like process registration, he helps you out with getting the consultation done, then he guides you to the lab and your lab test is done. This is called as a digital solution. So this is how, like the physical solution works. A digital staff and a physical staff. That is called as basically digital solution. I'll give you one example. So this digital implementation happens in many industry. It happens in hospital network industry. It happens in insurance sector. This happens in clinical research, and this happens in medical building. And this is already is established in US healthcare market. So in India, I'm talking about this happens in these many sectors. Now I'll give you one example. So for example, let's assume a patient. There's a case like this. A 28-year-old female who's married since 2 years, and she's not having any kids. And suddenly she got abdominal pain in the left portion of her abdomen. Okay, and she went to hospital. She's having insurance, and the doctor diagnosed her, and doctor said, let's go for an USG abdomen scanning. So post the scanning, we got the report that she's having twisted ovary. So she's having twisted ovary. Now what happens? Doctor is recommending a certain procedure. So this procedure would cost her around 1.5 lakhs. It's costing around her 1.5 lakhs. Now this case comes to the insurance company. Because she paid the premium, she is eligible for, to make the claim. Now this case comes. Now what the insurance company will do, she's having like a twisted ovary, and it's actually twisted ovary is like, if you see superficially, it's payable. As per medical insurance, it's payable. But now what happens? What exactly? Now we should dive deep in to understand the actual process. Should we really pay for it or not? Now, this is the one aspect that you are seeing superficially. But if you look down deeply, basically a 28-year-old female won't get any kind of ovarian torsion in just 2 days. She got abdominal pain since 2 days and she came to the hospital. She was diagnosed with twisted ovary. A 28-year-old woman won't get ovarian torsion just like that in 2 days. Any kind of ovarian torsion, if the patient is getting, he or she might be having a pre existing factor related to that particular disease. So, the first thing what the person should do is should raise the query of the obstetric history of the patient. He or she will definitely have an obstetric history. So, we should verify the obstetric history. Second thing, she is married and she's not having kid from past 2 years, and ovarian torsion is an barrier for pregnancy. Now at this point of time, basically if she is going for a procedure to rectify the ovarian torsion, she might be planning for a pregnancy, but we are not sure about that. But doctor nowhere mentioned she's anxious to get pregnant. If doctor mentioned as she's anxious to get pregnant, we can directly reject this case and we don't have to give that patient the claim. But doctor is no as nowhere mentioned that she's anxious to get pregnant. So somewhere the doctor is trying to help the patient in getting the claim. This is what we are suspecting. So now what we do, now we will trigger investigation. We will go and investigate this particular patient's case. And if the investigation is positive, then we will pay or else we will not pay. And if the obstetric history has any history of any issue, then usually we will not pay. So this claim is not payable. But these things, whatever I said you, this entire analysis, so what we predicted in this particular scenario, so this knowledge, if I gave to the system, it's called as predictive analysis. So basically, I'm teaching the system and I'm inculcating some intelligence within the system. And that intelligence is called as artificial intelligence. So if you guys want to communicate with me, okay, which language you guys will use? Let's assume you guys will use English. So why will you communicate with me in English? Because you think that I know English, and you think, and you know English, so you think if we both can talk in English, that's viable. Now let's assume if you want to communicate with the system, with the computer. So which language will you guys use? Anyone? Which language will you guys use if you want to communicate with the system team? Any idea? Cool. Now I think my screen is visible. So are you able to see my screen, guys? So let's take
Yeah, sir.
something.
Yeah, sir.
So can you see this? What is this page?
Yeah, sir, we are able to see that YouTube.
Yes, YouTube. Okay. So you are able to understand this page, right? YouTube. YouTube is an American social media, online, so and so. It has its complete details. Now, okay, let me see this. Open this Wikipedia. If I'm opening this Wikipedia of YouTube, yeah. Now you're able to understand. You can read this Wikipedia. So no one has any problem in understanding this YouTube Wikipedia. So YouTube is an American social media and everything. Now the same page. Can you guys understand this page now? How many of you understand? I can understand this page. This is the same page. Same. Can you see the link here? Wikipedia.org wiki YouTube. The same page. Is nothing but the backend. So whatever you guys saw here is the front end. Whatever you're seeing here is the backend. So basically, if I want to communicate with the system has one language. The language the system has is binary code, 0 and 1. If you want to communicate something with the system, you should always use the system language. So binary code is the most primitive and initial language that was incorporated with the computer, 0 and 1. So let's assume binary code is like your grandfather, something like that. The latest language that we have in the market is your Java, Python, R, all those things. So now if you want to communicate with the system, you should use the system language, that is Java and Python. So if you can ask, I can see English in system, right? MS Office, MS Excel, that is called as user experience. So we are writing it as MS Excel or MS Office just to, because the user should make it uh, feel comfortable. So that's the reason it's written as MS Office and MS Excel. But if you are giving any command to the system, you're asking the system to do something. Okay, you do this report for me every week. If you're giving such command in English, the system will never do that. So if you want to command the system something, and if you're expecting the system to do that, the only way to do that is by communicating with the system in systems language, that is through Java and Python. So if you code something in Java and Python in the backend, and if you instruct the system to do something, if you inculcate certain intelligence, like every week, as per this data, give me a report. If you inculcate this knowledge to the system, this is called as artificial intelligence. Inculcating intelligence within the system is called as artificial intelligence. And this AI can be achieved through different method. One of the most famous method is called as ML, machine learning, teaching the machine how to do certain things. We have ML, LLM, lot of different methods to teach the system. Now, the most common method is ML, machine learning. Machine learning is the way where we teach the system to do something. So AI, ML is one of the most prominent thing that we are using today in the healthcare digital transformation. AI is everywhere, team. AI is everywhere. AI is everywhere. In US, it's already there. In India, it's upcoming. And this AI we are using in most of the companies. For example, most of you guys are fond of clinical research. So being a PharmD grad, like everyone wants to end up in a clinical research job for a lucrative salary or a lucrative position. It can be for n number of reasons. So even in your clinical research, if you take a decade back, there was a job called as data, especially in PV, there's a job called as data entry. So data entry executive, basically you join the company and you will do the data entry. But today in the market we don't have something called as data entry. It's become very primitive because data entry has been made like AI based. So the AI generates the data entry. The data entry has become very primitive in the market. So AI came into clinical research. So the data entry domain itself is like has been shrinken, and only QA and QC are existing today in pharmacovigilance. So if you ask me, does AI steal your job? Definitely no. AI won't steal your job, but a person without the knowledge of AI can't survive in the market in future. So everyone needs to know AI at least to some bit. You might have using some tools like Quitbot or something like that. Okay, basically that helps you to framing your grammatical sentence, something like that. But there are a lot of advanced tools in the system, so you can always depend on AI, and you can learn things and you can understand. So digital transformation not only involves AI, it also involves a lot of business analytics. If you want to be a good digitization manager, or if you're planning to bring your career in digital marketing or digital transformation, you should have very strong knowledge on data analytics. So without the proper knowledge of data analytics, it would be very hard. So what do you mean by data analytics? So data analytics is basically working on data. So in this data analytics, you have like two domain. One is a big data, other one is like normal data analysis. So big data is something where the data is something more than 1 million rows. Okay, more than one. If you have something a Excel sheet of more than 1 million rows, that is called as big data. So many companies like are having big data analysis and big data tools. There are different tools for big data. You have Apache, Adobe. You have like in Amazon also offering a tool called as QuickSight. If you are not having very big data, you can always prefer QuickSight. So these are the tools that are used for big data analytics and business intelligence. You can try out with starting stuffs like Power BI, Tableau. These are very initial things to start up with. These tools will help you in data visualization and give you some idea. Coming to health, there are a lot of data, because health is something, especially if you are not working in a hospital and you are working in a corporate company. Labs, pharma, consultation, surgery, everything will come under the business umbrella. You can't tell I'm a pharmacist or I'm a pharmacologist, I can't work on labs. I'm a physician, I can't work on like a pharmacological data or something like that. Everyone should work on every data, because data is the money, data is the knowledge. So I'll give you an example. So for example, I had a scenario. So I got a chunk of data. I got a very huge data, and the data was telling me nothing. It was just a chunk of data. The data is about some diagnostic report. So it was telling what is the diagnostic recommended, did the customer did the diagnostic, yes or no. So that's all I add. So but it didn't add anything in specific why the customer haven't did nothing. Then I looked into the data, I analyzed it. It's called as data analysis. I did, after all the analysis, I came to know the customers are not doing the lab report due to n number of reason. Lack of like they don't have like money at that point of time, or they want to rush for something else, or they don't feel like doing the lab test at that point of time. They feel they are fine, doctor simply recommended the lab test. There are n number of reasons, but our intention is to make the patient to do the lab report, because without doing the lab report we can't actually figure out what is the actual problem that is existing with the patient. It's very important. So we made certain plan. Okay, we made certain plan for the business, and we implemented that plan. By that plan, the patients were able to do the lab test. So how we are able to implement this plan? We were able to implement this plan through data analysis. So that is the reason data analysis is very, very important. You might have seen in your YouTube videos this ads, data analysis gives you high paying job, these, that. But it's actually true. It's not something, it's not true. It's actually true. The jobs are very lucrative actually. But getting the proper analysis on the data is not an easy task. So you should have proper knowledge, proper exposure, or someone who can guide you and help you out with that. So with that, you can even try your career in uh, data analysis. So basically this digitization, data analysis, okay, these are basically comes under commercial section of the market. So that basically makes an important part in the revenue. So higher the lucrative jobs, higher the risk. So if you want to survive in some lucrative jobs, so higher the risk. The job secure insecurity rises with with lucrative salaries. So if you want to survive in a lucrative job and lucrative salary, your output is very very important. You should be a result driven and result oriented person. Unless you are result driven and result oriented person, you can't be in this, but in these kind of particular jobs. So constantly you should be producing the result, and no one will come and push you at the level of manager. No one will come and ask you, boss, you do this, you do that. They will just they just need the result, that's it. You do whatever you want, they just need the result. So that is the thing. And especially in corporate, right, in corporate market, if you're in an executive or an associate level, you can ask sorry. If you do some mistake, you can uh, say sorry, I won't do it next time. I'll make sure it won't be repeated. But especially when you reach the role of team leaders and above, you can't tell that. You can't tell sorry, I won't do it next time. It's not accepted. As simple as that. If you are not able to do that, then it's better like you find something else that suits you where they accept your sorry. So it goes like this. So the digitization domain is an very significant domain in the business, but this domain is a needs a lot of responsibility, and unless and until you are result driven, no issues. If you miss the result, then that directly impacts your job. So this is a team. This is about digitization, and this is it from my end. So if you have any queries, if you have any doubt, feel free to get in touch with me in my mail ID, drprabhakarshankar@gmail.com. You can find my profile in LinkedIn, Instagram. It's in Instagram, it's I'm Prabhakar Shankar. In LinkedIn, you can type my name, you will get my profile. So anyone, any doubts, any questions, please feel free to ask, guys. So we can discuss any, we can have an interactive session. So like if you have any doubts, so feel free to ask.
If anyone have even any doubts, you can put in the chat box or you can unmute yourself and ask.
Yeah. Sheikh Sumaya. Yes, what you were seeing there, yeah, it's a code, Sumaya. So it's the backend code actually. Anyone? Any questions? Where can we, question from uh, Hema Varshini. Where can we learn AI based skills? Yeah, good evening. As a fresher, so as a fresher, like it depends like on which department you are planning to have your career. If you are planning to have your career in clinical research in PV, like if you guys are, if you know about PV, like Argus and Aries G, all these tools are having their own AI, and it has been incorporated. And this AI changes from company to company. Yes. So this AI changes from company to company and the product to product. RSG is something different. Argus is different. In clinical research, if you want to work is with Argus, Argus is very user friendly. One of the most commonly used device across the globe is Argus. And you have ABC Cube, you have Argus, you have eClinicals, you have like RSG, you have EDC platforms. There are a lot of things, but AI predominantly is available in Argus and Aries G. So Argus and Aries G, basically, if you ask me, like, I want to learn about AI in clinical research? Basically, you don't have any dedicated course to learn AI in clinical research. If someone is telling you, please don't believe. because ARSG and Argus AI are very sensitive platform for the company. If you are working in the company, there is a department called as data migration department, and if they want to move to Argus or ARSG from one software to another, they will be working with the department called as data migration. If you get a chance to work with data migration department, there you'll be closely working with these softwares, and you'll get a lot of opportunity to learn AI in clinical research aspect. So that's data migration department. Like usually you can get these opportunities in small companies, because big companies has already established with the concept. So small companies offer this role. And Shashank, I'm fourth year Form D student. I'm confused. Where should I go? Business or clinical things? To be honest with you, I would say like always go with your base degree, and clinical things is better for you because you spent like 6 years in of your career in clinical things, so you are very strong in that. So clinical thing is always better than you, because business is something new that it's out of your curriculum, so you might feel it's a bit different or difficult. So that's completely different. I'm into business because like I my interest got changed, and that's how my career made. Initially, when I was working in clinical research, but clinical research was not my cup of tea, so I moved into business. Business might, like um, more target oriented or more incentive oriented or field oriented. If you're a person like someone who wants to roam in the field, who likes to work based on incentive basis or something like that, you can definitely try out business. And clinical things are like a fixed salary, no incentives. It's like it's not field oriented, it's white collar job is your clinical things. And have good knowledge on pharmacology, because you should be an expert in pharmacology. If you have good knowledge in pharmacology, trust me, you have a bright future. A good knowledge in pharmacology is something very much needed in Indian market, very much valued in Indian market. And I have seen many of my friends who are working for a lucrative salary as a clinical pharmacologist in some of the top hospitals in India. Because I can understand, some will say I only got 20,000 salary for clinical pharmacist. No, I have seen even people with very much high salary into 5 times of 20,000 salary for clinical pharmacist. I have seen, especially you can try on oncology domains. Oncology domain can't survive without clinical pharmacologist. Form D is highly necessary for any oncology hospital. If you get a chance to work on oncology hospital, I would always show a thumbs up. You can definitely go ahead. It will pay you high. It's a very rewarding career. You also have courses like fellowship in oncology. That is also very valuable. If you do fellowship in oncology, that gives you a very bright future. Hope it's resolved, Shashank. So, do we have to learn computer language like Java to survive in the field? No, not at all. I myself don't know Java and Python, but I can understand because I have worked with tech team a lot. So I understand, but I never invested even a single penny of my salary to learn Java and Python, because it's not necessary. Even if I take 6 months or 1 year course on Java or Python, I can never compete with the actual developer who spent 4 years of their career in learning Java and Python. So I have expertise in certain things, so I'm focusing on that where I'm actually good at. So Java and Python is not at all necessary. The necessary part for you guys is pharmacotherapeutics and clinical pharmacology and your anatomy and physiology. That gives a rewarding career if you have good knowledge. Uh, Girija, sir, it is crucial to learn Java AI based tools as a foundation. No, not at all. I think the same question. It's not required. Please work on your clinical knowledge, because I have trained 5,000 plus people. The one thing I noted among the PharmD graduate is lack of clinical knowledge. I'll tell you on live example. So I was working in a company and I got three people for interview, and one girl is Form D, one girl is BDS, another girl is B Form. Now this Form D and BDS girl, they are telling they are doctor. The B Form girl, she's not a doctor, she's just a graduate. Now I did the interview, and the B Form girl was having predominantly more knowledge and more skills compared to this Form D and BDS girl. Now tell me, should I hire the degree or should I hire the knowledge? So obviously I had the knowledge. I had the B Form girl because she was having knowledge. So degree is a piece of paper team. It's all about knowledge. So develop your knowledge. This is a time to develop your knowledge, interact with people, seniors, your peers, develop the knowledge as much as possible, because once you go to the market, the expectation will change based on the company or the hospital that you are working for. So please work on pharmacology and HAP or patho, because I have seen most of the people are not able to answer basic questions in path, pharmacology, and HAP. So that will definitely help you out. And good evening. Is it necessary to learn Python AI for CRO? Not at all, not required. Even R is also not necessary. Many people learn R, but it's not necessary actually. What key digital tools and technologies should PharmD students focus on mastering to enhance their clinical and research skills? And how can these tools improve patient care while addressing challenges like data security and medication error? And very good question, Sumaya. So data security and medication error. To be honest, there is no dedicated AI tools for any students in healthcare. Actually, we have AI tools that is for the companies. Companies have their own AI tools, and they also have patent for that. So most of the companies that is having AI tools with them, they got patent for that. So basically, if you work in that company, you might have the chance to work on that particular AI tool. Or else, if you ask independently, can I learn something like that? At this point of time in India, it's not possible. So we don't have anything as such. And very good thing, coming to AI, the data security and is very very important. Basically, so if I'm having certain data from the hospital, what happens? So not only like the I have the patient data, so I have everything. So I can see all the details of the patient. The patient is in Mumbai, patient's phone number, patient's age, patient's name, patient's PAN card details, literally everything. What condition patient got admitted for, how many days he or she got admitted. I can see all the data, literally everything. Now the data should be compliance. Okay, there is something called as GDPR guidelines, data security, data global data protection and regulatory act. Okay, and we have ISO completion, ISO completion like 27,000. We have like IPA if you are working on US data, health insurance portability and accountability act. That is your IPA. So I should follow these guidelines. For example, I can see the data because I'm a doctor or I'm the owner of that particular process, but I can't allow a developer from my team to see this data. So that is called as HIPAA compliance. So if a developer sees the data, then data is not compliant. So when I'm seeing the data, I should have that integrity, that I should not misuse that data. So being in the profession, integrity and trust matters a lot. You might see the entire data of the person, but never break the integrity, never misuse the integrity. Integrity is something most highly valued. You are seeing this data because somewhere the patient trusts you. Even if he's having some disease like HIV, you can still see his data, but you can't disclose to anyone at any point of time unless and until it is required by law. So data security is very much important, and medication error is actually reduced through AI. So it's actually reduced through AI. We also have some tools, especially in the US market. We have certain insurance companies which work on this medication errors, and we have some online virtual consultation companies that work on medication errors. So AI helps in actually reducing medication errors. After Form D, should we go for MD? Is MD is there in India after Form D? You can go for MD after Form D. Not in India, but in abroad it's available. But in India, MD is not available after Form D, but it's definitely available in abroad. If you want to do MD after Form D, yes, you can go abroad and you can do it. But make sure you have a proper plan post your MD, because you are investing a lot and you should get the returns. So make the proper plan, then you can proceed. Any other questions, Sri? Good questions, guys. Thanks a lot for asking these questions, Shashank, Gauri, everyone. Cool. Any other questions, team? See, whichever.
Yeah, sir, I think
Yeah, Nirmala,
that's
please.
all from the audience.
Cool, cool. That's great. So your career depends on you guys. Know what is your actual instinct, follow your instinct. And one thing is always stick to your base qualification. That helps you in long run. Don't dilute your base qualification. So that's the thing. So thanks a lot, Nirmala. It was a pleasure talking to you all.
Sir, Thank you, sir. I have to mention this. Mention this. We are very inspired from the story itself that any time and everything can be possible. It was really inspirable story. Apart from story, coming to the session, it is really unique and worth listening session, and it was very different kind of session from we heard till now, and it was really insightful and useful and appreciable. On thank you, sir, providing such useful insights on digitalization.
Thanks a lot, Nirmala. Thanks a lot. Sure. Thanks a lot, Somaya. So keep in touch, guys. So God bless you all. Have a great evening, and you have some upcoming sessions with the experts. So utilize their knowledge and implement those things in your career. Thank you, team. Thank you, Saicon, for arranging this. This is very one of the unique thing that I ever